Well, I'm going to do a bit of an interesting and different kind of video tonight. Um, and I say tonight, it's actually a little after 1 o'clock in the morning here on the East Coast. And first of all, don't worry, I'm not going to be up all night. And I actually got a nice nap in after the market closed today and early this evening. So don't worry too much about that. But I felt compelled uh, to talk to some of the newer onlookers to this diary. And I say that because I've glanced at the traffic again, and there's another surge in terms of interest. Here we are about to reach our 1 year anniversary mark of this ongoing diary, and the interest, the thirst for knowledge, I guess, out there continues to grow, and despite really lack of advertising and that kind of thing, which I'll again stay away from like the plague. The interest just seems to be continuing to grow for some reason. Um, and as that's happening, and I'm seeing this in comments and I'm seeing this in emails, there certainly seems to be a new group of folks coming, again, looking for knowledge, looking for the secret, if you will. And I wanted to put this last year in perspective. I wanted to put this year in perspective, and again, I think first of all the thirst for knowledge is wonderful. I think that's a reflection of this industry, unfortunately, still being so caught up in smoke and mirrors, as I like to call it, mixed up with lots of hype, lots of marketing, a lot of tools being sold out there, and people looking for all the answers. Um, and as you're finding your way to this site, and obviously word of my record over the past couple of years has gotten out. Again, I'd like to speak to those folks that are new to the site, in terms of reminding us all, including myself, what this is all about. I've tried to be very candid over the past couple of years, and over the last year since we've been doing this diary, in terms of trying to share the daily experiences, the daily thought process in such a way where a lot of the myths out there, a lot of the hype, where people think that this is about making money every day, every week, and that kind of thing, that just seems to be put out there in terms of a truth. But this business is far from that. Certainly, the objective is to come here every day and make money. Whether you are trading a purely a statistical process program, what have you, or whether you are more of a person that looks at this as a mental sport, as I do. There are going to be times when you're on your game. There are going to be times when probability on the statistical side plays out for you, and there will be the other times. That's a fact. That's a fact that we have to live with. So while certainly I don't intend on ever losing money, I fully recognize the fact, and I tried to point this out last year, where we know that that's not always going to happen. And a lot of people can't stomach that. I think a lot of people that approach this business with good intentions just fail to understand that this is not about making money every day, or making windfalls every day. Again, I tried to point out last year that even though I did very well, and topped the industry in terms of results. And again, I tried to say this last year. I knew it wasn't always going to be like that. Even into 2009, where early this year, I think we went 2 months or so with maybe one or two losing days. I don't even think I had one in January. I tried to point out that again, this is unusual. This is not the norm. Life has a way of reverting to the mean, if you will, reverting to a trend channel, just like the market. And for me, that's what this year's been a little bit about. As I mentioned in yesterday's post, Wednesday's post, last year was a really great test for me to see, if I put my life on hold for a full year, what that result would be. And this year's been a little bit different for me. It's been a little frustrating, but it reminds all of us. And as much as I don't like the fact that I'm flat and I'm making some, losing some, and I'm not growing to the extent that I did last year. As frustrated as I am with that, I'm again glad to see that others are able to view that, because again, as I tried to point out during the really good times, This is a business where, yeah, you strive to make money every day, but frankly, it's like storing the acorns up. You've got to press it when you have the advantage, and you know that you're going to have to rely upon those acorns, if you will, to use a really another corny analogy, to get you through these other times. And again, I think a lot of people that fail and pursue this business, don't understand that. Again, many of you are finding your way to this site because word has gotten out about my record over the years, which I've been very public with, and of course the ongoing dialogue and opening up of my life over the past year. And I've tried to do that for a couple of reasons. Obviously, if you read the FAQ, one is for this to serve as a motivational tool for me, but also to try to cut through the smoke, to try to cut through the hype, and show people what it's really about. I'm not a god. I'm not a guru. I don't have all the answers. But I will commit to you this. I will always be 100% candid with you. And that's just who I am, and that's what this is all about. So again, if you're finding your way to this site, thinking that this is it, this is the panacea, this is the Holy Grail of sorts, it's not. There's so many ways to approach this business. I am very open in terms of sharing my thoughts and what I do, but it's not necessarily, and I know it's not the right method or the right way to do this. Every year that I think any of us trade, we learn a little bit more about ourselves. We learn a little bit more about the business. The business reinforces certain concepts that we know, but sometimes we have to see them again. As I mentioned in yesterday's post, again, I'm calling this year for me Life Interruptus, which is a stark contrast to last year, where I pretty much did sacrifice a lot of my personal life and let some things go to see what that impact would be. So again, I welcome certainly everybody here. To the veteran onlookers, I hope this reinforces some of the things that we've talked about in the past. For new folks, again, welcome. I enjoy the dialogue. I enjoy meeting you folks online. I'm looking forward to the cookout in a couple of weeks. We'll just keep on keeping on. I don't know, as I've said recently, what I'm going to do after we hit the 1 year mark. I don't know if this blog will continue. It's certainly serving a purpose for me in terms of motivation. I certainly appreciate all of the positive comments over the past year with respect to this, but it is some work. It is a little bit of work. So we'll see where we go with it. But again, until that happens, I just felt compelled tonight to talk to a lot of the newer folks that were finding their way here. It's not about one day. There's a reason that I referenced 1,000 career trading days or thousands of days in yesterday's post. It's about trying to put this in perspective. Every minute, every day, every week, every month, every year. You have caught me over the past year at a record pace performance level, which certainly is great, but is not the norm. It's not the norm for me. It's not the norm for this industry. I mentioned that the top CTAs rarely repeat year after year, and I'm seeing firsthand how difficult that is. In my case, because of non-trading issues coming into my life. But I guess that's what life's about. So anyway, enough babbling tonight. Just think about that a little bit. Have a great trading day tomorrow, Friday, whatever the next week will bring. For those coming to the cookout in a couple of weeks, I'm really looking forward to it. Let's get all the rain out of the way with this weekend, and we'll catch you then. So take care, and we'll see you online.